This is a question which has both advantages and disadvantages. I shouldn't say question, this is an issue which has both advantages and disadvantages for Turkey, and both for Turkey and for Europe as well. If Turkey becomes an active member of European society and merges with them, then the Europe will have the problem of having a large number of Muslims entrusted to them as their own part, integral part of European entity. And among them would be many intolerant Muslims as well. Those who are fundamentalists, those who this and that, who in the name of Islam would consider it their bounden duty to bring about a bloody revolution in Europe, for instance, in Germany, elsewhere. And they will have free access to European states wherever they would like to go. Because it's impossible to make Turkey a full member, yet to withhold from Turkey the genuine rights all the other members possess and enjoy. See? So this is the disadvantage, if it is a disadvantage, for Europe, not for Turkey. As far as the Turkish problem of unemployed labor is concerned, now, so far, they have been largely dependent on Germany. And they come to Germany in really very large numbers. Or they sometimes also go to Belgium. And in Belgium also, they are playing a role in running the economy in certain areas. You know, they hold the small shops everywhere in Brussels. And those small shops are of advantage to both the Turkish and the Belgian people because they bring some cheap, not cheap, but inexpensive and good material from Turkey and from Spain, etc., and make it available to the Belgian people at very inexpensive prices, very low prices. But they also create other problems. The problems of their remaining in groups. And the group psychology also produces gangs. And this is what it has done. And the Germans know better than any other people that it's very difficult to cope with gangs of a people who are very martial in their attitude, like the Turkish are. You see, so turn them on the wrong side up and then you see what I mean. The result is that they also trade in illicit traffic of many things like drugs. And this indulgence in illicit traffic of drugs, etc., is creating many problems. And in areas there part of the Turkish masses developing like a mafia, because the common Turkish people are only exploited by certain criminal-minded leaders, and this is the problem which Germany was tired of. And only recently, the German government took certain measures which were resented by the Turkish people. Now, on top of that, for Europe to contemplate, to give a seat, to provide a seat to Turkey, which would make it an equal member of the European society. This is what amazes me. What could have motivated it? Or was it that the Turkish people applied for it and they had no technical handle to reject this application? The only advantage which could be gained by Germany by this would be that instead of their concentrating in Germany they could spread out to the whole of Europe. They create as many unwanted pockets in England, for instance, as they do in Germany, and maybe some pressure on Germany is reduced. That could be the only advantage gained by Germany for doing this. As far as the economy is concerned and the common social aspect of inviting different people from different culture is concerned. There are social problems, there are economic problems, and I'm talking of those from the angle of Europeans. From the negative angle, what pressures this admission to the European society of Turkey may create on European society. That is what I'm taking up. But of course there are always advantages of having a people who are tough, hard in their labor, and who provide you services at a cheaper rate than your own people are accustomed to. So availability of hard labor, which has created a good record in the past, is always useful for an advanced country if properly employed. So maybe that would be the only advantage on the economic side Europe could gain from providing them this entry. But there are other issues as well. There are international political issues. I think the greatest pressure on the West, not only on Europe, but on the West, would be to keep Turkey on the right side in a manner that in case of a future global war, Turkey could not remain neutral like it did in the past. Now, if they become a member of European community, and Europe as such decides, for instance, to go to war, into war with Russia, or China imposes a war upon the West, or vice versa, Turkey will have to tug along with them and go the whole hog to confront the war, which may be imposed upon them, or they may impose it themselves on others. So that is a great advantage, for which they made every possible effort to convince Turkey to relinquish its neutrality and join the Western alliance against Russia, but Turkey insistently refused and kept firm. So that memory may have conjured up some fears for the future, and maybe it is this what they have in mind to contemplate their entry into a common market. From the Turkish point of view, entirely from the Turkish point of view, this may prove disastrous, and it may also prove of advantage. Because if Turkey is left alone as a political, powerful military machine, as such, if it is free to opt for any side, as such it will always be considered as a source of threat for the free European or Western world. And they know the Turkish potentials. They are very tough people, and militarily they are a factor which simply cannot be ignored in international affairs. So that is how we should study it from the point of view of the Turkish people. There is an advantage to be gained by Turkey in the sense that if Turkey becomes a member of European community, then Turkey will not be afraid of. Turkey will no longer pose a threat to the Western peace, and as such they may not indulge in conspiracies against Turkey to repeatedly create a situation whereby either Turkey is involved in a regional war of destruction, or Turkey is involved in local distrust and rioting, etc., so that it continues to be bled. Now, this is generally the answer found by the West, and they are masters at handling this type of situation. So maybe Turkey is spared that conspiratorial threat from the West, which they do for their own defense, of course. For national security and defense, everything in politics is considered right. So I'm not criticizing them. I'm just explaining a situation which may develop, which has developed, and which may take a different turn if Turkey becomes a member of the European Community. Right? That question has to be studied at deeper length, at depth, at greater length, by the Turkish experts. And there, I believe that the consensus of the entire Turkish people should be taken into view. It should not be just rightist parties or leftist parties. I believe this is a national issue of such grave importance that some wise man in Turkey should speak loudly on this issue and tell everybody, forget your own differences for the time being. Come on, let's join our heads like one single family and contemplate the issue and analyze it so threadbare that all of us begin to see the light. So with the consensus of opinion, we take a decision either in this direction or that direction. This, in the end, is my advice, and I hope if it is followed, it will pay dividends for the Turkish people.